Just to kind of get into the shop tour a little bit, tell us a little bit, obviously, medical device, electronics, you guys do a lot in that industry. Then you have your own brand too with ergonomics. Yeah, talk to us a little bit, like kind of how the shop started, how it's kind of grown to where it is today.
Yeah, it's a rare precision, high precision tool and die shop. We're 12,000 square feet now. We started in one of these units of 3,000 square feet, family run business. We started in the semiconductor industry doing molds and dies, and we still do that, but we also have gotten into the medical industry, helping with a lot of specialty tooling. And we are a very high precision shop, pay attention to detail with a variety of skill sets here, from tool makers to machinists to engineers. A few years ago, we bought Ergonomics, which is a company that we make probes for, that we sell all over the world for. These are for testing agencies that need to do testing on any kind of consumer product or product that is sold to the public.
Cool. Yeah, and let's do a quick walkthrough. Obviously here, this is your RAM EDM area, right?
Yes, this is our Sinker EDM area here. We have a wide vintage age of machines here from 2004 to 2020. We have some more on the other side too. So the Sinker EDM is usually one of the later processes where we can take either heat-treated material, and we've done a lot more carbide material lately, especially with the specialty tooling. We do a lot of carbide, and carbide we have to use electrodes in order to put in the high precision profiles. The nice thing about these Sinker EDM machines is they repeat very well. We're not doing any crazy 5-axis 3D milling, but we need to be within 1/10,000th of an inch over and over and over and over on hundreds and thousands of parts all day long, all week long, all year long.
And I believe this machine and some of the others you guys have do a lot of the fine hole drilling. Yeah, right. I know you can get some pretty crazy aspect ratios.
Right, yeah, and what we have here is for fine hole drilling. We have gone as low as 6/1000ths of an inch to 8/1000ths to 12/1000ths diameter. That's our normal size that we're drilling here. We are drilling through 1.5 inches of carbide. So that is way over the manufacturer specifications for a diameter length ratio. But we have a very skilled workforce here that just is all, we're always up for a challenge. It's a nice benefit we can provide to our customers.
Cool. Yeah, you want to walk through here? I know this is some of your tooling, and then we're kind of getting into the beginning of your wire EDM area here, right?
So this is our wire EDM area, similar to the Sinker EDM area. The wire EDM allows us to do very accurate parts, very accurate slots, very accurate holes, straight walls, sharp corners. We have different sizes that we use for the wires. We have a 10,000th wire here. We have a 4,000th wire here. The 4,000th wire allows us to get a sharper corner. So we make the part that goes in the slot, so they need to mate just perfectly. The slot is plus or minus 10,000ths of an inch. The part that goes inside of it is 1/10,000th of an inch. We have it here in a climate controlled room that helps make sure that all these parts are coming out within millions of each other to eventually go to our customers at the end of the day. So
yeah, it's pretty incredible how you're able to take parts from different machines, different kind of runs and batches, and they all just kind of work together, right? Which is
yeah, and that's the idea. All these parts are really start in our grinding area. In the grinding area, we start with a large backlog of them, let's say 1,000, and they're all gonna come through here. Now all these parts are gonna be in our own specially made fixtures, and every single one of those parts has to fit in this fixture just perfectly. It can't be too big where it doesn't fit, but it can't be too small where it's loose. The wire EDM and the Sinker EDM are more downstream operations. You're getting more of a finished part then. But that requires everyone early on, even in milling and sawing, they have to make the parts the same. We don't want to manage a bunch of different segregated types of parts. That's more work on our end. We want all parts to be the same. So when they go through here, it's really streamlined and efficient, and it allows us to get more parts through quicker in a day.
cool. Yeah, let's go over. I think there's some more wire EDMs over here. Yes, I think there's another, 6 or 7 wire EDMs back here as well.
We've got another 5 wire EDMs back here. We expanded into this unit a few years ago because in order to keep up with our workload. This was before Start Proto. But Start Proto has been really helpful with all these other machines that we have. Similar machines that we just saw in that other room, just at different vintages and different years. We keep all these machines running. The nice thing about a wire EDM is one operator can usually run multiple machines. So that's a very beneficial part of productivity. Start Proto helps us definitely with the prints of the different departments from milling to semi-finished grinding. Usually then it comes into the wire EDM or the Sinker EDM, and then there's a final finish grind, and all of them require different dimensions. As the material starts oversized and we slowly bring it into the print size. I know exactly how many parts I have. Do I have raw material? Do I have in-process material? That's where Start Proto is a ridiculously valuable tool in helping us, that we're never out of stock. We cannot be out of stock. If we're out of stock, my customer will look at other options.
I know one of the things we worked, especially with you guys on early on, is getting the work routing system to account for, you know, ways that you can blank things into almost finished states, right? Because a customer might order variant A, B, or C, or, you know, I think some of your part families have 50 plus variants to them. And you're not actually keeping stock of those end variants, right? Which could obviously lead to overproduction, or you not having inventory to make the, you know, variant F or whatever it might be. So I know you guys keep a lot of things and rely on our work routing system to kind of keep blanks of stuff and to make it so that you have things in an almost finished state, so that when that customer does come, you can, you know, meet that delivery time and make them, you know, 15 different variants, even if you don't have any individual one in stock.
It was a lot of manual management. It was all me and Kale, and we had to manage the raw material. We had to manage, all right, 2 to 3 weeks to get here. We have many different family of parts, and it was just a lot to manage. And every time an order came in, I would have to come out and see where we were at. It would be a nightmare. You'd be here 7 days a week. Would have to hire someone almost just to administrate that on their own. But with Start Proto really allows us to take the semi-finished part, which can have many variants. That's the great thing about it. We can put the material here so it's sitting and waiting. It's not much investment on our end time-wise. The benefit is absolutely worth the risk of actually getting the material and doing the milling and getting it ready in the grind, because just for delivery times and getting it to our customer, that's the key.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move. I know we'll maybe skip mass milling and go straight to grinding here. Yeah, so we're over here. I know you guys do a lot of different grinding. Just do wet grind, which I guess does a lot of your roughing. I guess if you speak to a little bit kind of what your kind of work you're doing here.
Earlier on in the process, now we're usually handling, this is our wet grinding area, which started with a few machines. Now we have a lot more. Basically now is when we're taking our large family of parts, pretty much make 70 to 80% of it all as one lot. And then eventually we wait for the order. So then that's when the variants come in of one lot of parts could be eventually 40 different configurations or variants or orders. So in the wet grinding areas where we're gonna take this big lot of parts, so we'll run thousands of parts through here. This has been a recent backlog area for us, so we are cross-training and bringing other people into this area. And with Start Proto, we have the whole operation detailed out on a granular level. Let's say it's a 6-sided part that needs all the different grinding steps to it. We have all them operation steps spelled out, so it gives something for the person training them to speak to, because now instead of just verbally talking, you have actually something to show. It gives the operator more confidence, and it really accelerates the learning curve.
Yeah, and I know those work instructions, obviously, you know, you guys might have taken a first pass at them between you and your Kale, but a lot of that's actually been built up by the operators on the shop floor, taking photos of their setups, taking photos of, you know, whatever it is they're working on. Right? So it's sort of capturing that tribal knowledge, getting into the system. And then, you know, when you do have, you know, maybe a little bit more work in grinding or milling or whatever else, you can kind of move people around,
right?
And keep that team size kind of small and lean and keep everyone at a pretty high level, right?
Yeah, that's been a wonderful benefit as well. And especially if we have like a newer part, we will put a place marker in there. Let's say we think it's going to be 3 grind ops, we'll put grind op 1, 2, and 3. But then we leave it up to the operator. They comment in there, so they can then put in all their work instructions, all the information. What wheel did they use? What kind of setup, what device did they use? Another critical thing is capturing the time. So the ability for them to capture the times here, now I can really see how much is this part costing me. Is it better to run 20 at a time or 40 at a time? Now I have some intelligent feedback for me to review, and we can do a little cost benefit analysis.
Cool. Yeah, let's see what dry grinding, and this is typically one of your last sort of steps where you fine tune a lot of stuff. And this is still very much an art form, but
yes,
you got good at it.
So this is our dry grinding area. This is usually the last stop before engraving and shipping. This is where our tool makers are. We have a lot of expensive machinery, expensive equipment, holdings, work holders, vices. These guys here are very good at getting to the final 1/10,000th of an inch. Of all different types of material selections as well. Normally these guys are working to the final print. So this is where that comes into play. They need to make sure that the part they're getting is the same as all the parts that they're used to. It could be 4 parts, it could be 400 parts. And I know what's funneling towards them, so I can kind of keep the flow of the work moving smoothly. And then maybe they're doing a family of parts where they're using a certain setup that's was a tedious one to set up. I could see there's another job that uses the same setup. I could put that in the schedule for them so they can actually run both jobs at the same time, and it really helps with improving the productivity of the guys back here as well.
Yeah, for sure. And that obviously helps optimize the setups. And, you know, as you kind of have those end orders pop up, these guys are really checking very frequently to make sure that you're hitting those sometimes even 2 or 3 day delivery times. Or shipping times at least, whereas, you know, previously you'd be pulling those from way deeper in the shop.
Right.
So.
And back here, as you mentioned before, this is a little bit of an art as much as a science. So it's a lot of creativity, and you get a lot of one-off setups and fixtures, and you come just dream up a way to hold a part that you're going to put on this crazy shape. And then we get that job 3 years later. You're never going to remember what that crazy setup was, especially as that people retire. We can see the information that they had, and now it's for the next guy who has to make it, that they can see, all right, yeah, that's what we use.
Perfect. Cool. I guess let's go over to shipping, which is sort of the last stop, and laser maybe.
Yep.
So I know you guys are actually able to, you know, a lot of your customers being all over the world have different specs, sometimes different part numbers for the same thing, that sort of thing, right? So I know you guys have your shipping department actually do a lot of the final serialization, engraving. Talk through kind of your thought process there. And I know engraving is something you guys got in a few years ago, and now you do it on pretty much everything, right?
Right, and that's the engraving is key. We put our logo on everything. It's good for the branding, and it's also it's good for the customer to know a lot of these parts visually by eye. You can't tell what the difference is. So we will engrave even when it doesn't ask for it. We pretty much know what's the functioning part of a part that we'll put it on a non-functioning part of the part. And we engrave everything as much as we can. The key thing that Start Proto has been huge on is the same part going to different sites will have different engraving requirements. Take the packing list and handwrite a post-it note on it. Now we put all that in Start Proto. And actually that was the first thing that Start Proto tackled for us way back when in 2021 was shipping instructions, engraving instructions. Because every customer we ship to has different labeling instructions, packaging instructions, and engraving instructions. And it's key because a lot of these are international. Everything has to match. We can't have discrepancies. Discrepancies get things held up. And then it goes from engraving. We have very detailed shipping instructions. We have our own shipping containers for everything with our own shipping labels. And we don't want the person doing the shipping to guess.
Yeah, I know we sort of the approach to took. We're like, okay, like let's start here, let's move backwards. I know we got into grinding pretty quickly, but you know, kind of went from out the door all the way backwards. And
yeah, it worked out great. This was definitely task one, and the unexpected consequence of a benefit that we didn't see was the paperless drawing aspect of we don't really use prints anymore. So
I remember when we first came here, there was prints absolutely
everywhere. Yeah.
Shelves of parts, but now
yes.
You know, you got a couple shelves here and there,
right?
Some labels, but
right.
Yeah, I know. It lets you get out of the shop a lot more too, I think. But you know, taking more vacations, be able to do from home, and
for good or bad, you get to do more. The stuff comes to you on the weekend, and it's like, all right. I've definitely emailed Tim. I was like, hey, thanks for this. Half joking, but it's like, oh, Saturday something comes to you. I see an order come in, I can reschedule things. But it's all for the benefit of the company, and it's definitely a great tool for that. And you don't have to. I don't have to be in here to do it. I could be traveling, could do it from my phone, could do it from an iPad, could do it from a home computer.
For sure. So if there's an owner that's made the decision, they want to do this, they want to see this type of transformation in their business, how would you recommend they get their team to really buy in on it? I mean, I know you guys have done certain different incentives and kind of other things along the way. And I think ultimately, you know, the shop has kind of seen the benefit of everything being more calm. But, you know, let's say you're day one again, putting the system in place. What are you telling an owner on kind of how to make sure that it gets implemented successfully?
Yeah, I would say similar to what for us, we found one of our higher run items that kind of touches all the departments, and almost everybody will use. So we focused on a phased approach. We identified all the process, all the operations along the way. So start with a small phased approach on a product line or family of parts. Something you know how to make well. This way you can focus on what's that software doing for me, and you'll see what it's doing for you. And then once you get that repeat work in, once you get that job in again, that's when it's gonna be like, oh, that was like the aha moment for me and Cal when we first got that, because the one order we did, we constantly get orders in. Once we ran through it, we set up Start Proto with information necessary to get that part out the door. Then we got more orders in. It's like, oh, this is wonderful. It's beautiful. You really see you're gonna see a quick payback, and it's key. You have to get everybody involved. Even we have our front office involved. We have shipping and receiving involved, because you have turnover. We have a new receiving guy now. He's only here 2 weeks. It really helps to reduce the learning curve for when you get new people in. Just go and look all the post-it notes you have in your shop, and you won't have to write post-it notes anymore. That alone is a beautiful thing. The traveler sheets, no more traveler sheets. That's a beautiful thing, because who's managing those traveler sheets? And then you got to read that scribble. Someone's interpreting that traveler sheet to make it digital or scan it in, and it's a flawed and inefficient system.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for the tour.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm sure we'll keep doing some more content with you guys and share with the audience here. All right. Great. Thank you. Good luck. Bye, Star Proto.